Okay, basically I have this company Certified Solutions. I am into cloud and SAP training and consulting. Uh, right now, Azure training we are giving for free for administrator level. But if you want to upgrade it, you contact me offline. So again, this is a certification path. Basically you clear 104, and after you do 104, 400. I would suggest, because these are highly paid and highly in demand. Okay, the market professionals, a shortage of professionals. So what is a subscription? Okay, subscription is, you can't do anything in Azure without a subscription. First, Microsoft will create a subscription for you. Either it will be a pay as you go or an enterprise level or free subscription. Okay, so once you have a subscription, you will be logging to the thing. So you can create a subscription using portal, right? So this is creating a subscription. Again, there are different types of subscriptions, and there are different types of resources, including HD Insight, Logic Apps, and what have you. This is the old portal in Azure, which was before 2014. This is how it used to look like. Okay? And the new portal is what you have now. Okay? This is they're uh, using a lot of more features. And so this is a different application source tools in Azure. And this is another service diagram for uh, EAS, PIAS, and SAS, and all the services and resources which are offered by Azure. As of now, I think we covered in my videos. If you go to Certified Solutions videos on YouTube, you can see that I have covered the networking part. And then next I'm going to cover storage and Active Directory, that is managed identity part. And with the help of Manish, we are going to cover the web service and developer service also. So the benefit of using Azure is definitely to save cost. So you want to take control of what the forecast, and if somebody is costing you some service or resources costing more, you need to know immediately, right? So we can track all of that, okay, using you can shut down a VM, or you can limit the resources like usage, even storage account. So all that cost you can manage using Azure portal. Right? See, there's a cost overview, right? And then, like I said, the under the subscription you can have many resource group for a company. Let's say you have payroll, you have marketing, you have sales, you have finance. So you can create different resource groups. You can also create resource groups for dev, QA, and prod, or you can also create separate subscription for dev, QA, prod, depending on how you want to keep. But under subscription, you have resource group. Under resource group, you'll have all the resource. So the benefit of using resource group is, you can have segregate based on region. Usually all the resources in a particular region, East US, let's say East US, will be there under a resource group. So VM, so they have to be in the same region, and you can also manage them with a role-based access control. So people cannot delete if they want. You can just give them read only, or delete, or locks. You can create locks on them. So for reporting purposes also, you can keep it in the same resource manager. So regarding VNet, you know, I CIDR notation have gone in detail in my previous video, but still there's one more slide on how you create the VNet by default. Um, then the subnet, right? You divide the VNet into different subnets, and then this is slides for that. So guys, if you right now this training is free, but if you want to upgrade it, it's only 3,000 rupees I'm asking for the videos, and I will make sure that all the topics you will be able to practice. So I will make sure that I will do a checklist on each of these topics, and I will make sure that you practice all of them, including the practice test. So I will, if you upgrade, you contact me. You can either use the Google Pay or um, Zoom, or if you are calling from US or something. So I will make sure that you practice each one of these topics. So this is a very basic level slide. Again, VNet to VNet, you have point to site and site to site connection you can create, and how to create a gateway VPN, or express routes to connect between different regions and different geographies. You can use using this. So here in this slide, and in the future slide on videos also, we are creating both Linux machine, Mac OS as well as Windows. So Azure support all three. So you can create a storage account, VM, subnet, network, compute, and storage, right? So all the services fall under these three categories: network, compute, storage, security, right? And product or analytics, product analytics. For example, Power BI, right? You can. So these are 4 5 categories. Even certification assessment is done based on these categories. So I will. So you will have to practice each one of these topics. So again, creating a VM, using boot diagnostics, and if you want to shut down a VM, when it is not being used, all that is possible. Send an email when usage is exceeding, some cost, or you can, all that is possible using Hotel and PowerShell. So this is creating and connecting to a VM after first step after creating VNet and subnet, both Windows and Linux VM, and then you can add extra disk to your VM. You can add extra disk, like let's say you have D drive or E drive or F drive, so you can add extra disk to the VM. That is called like a managed disk, and this is how you do it. Yeah, so for, let's say you want to use a VM only for database, so you can create endpoints, service endpoints, right? So you can say this VM I want to use only for database, or this VM I want to use only for web app or API programming. So that is possible if you want to use only for firewall. So you create service endpoints. So load balancer also, using SQL Server always on. In a real life, this is very useful and widely used. You create load balancer to distribute the load between different SQL servers which are mirrored. So you have a mirror copy, let's say in East US, West US, or Europe, and then Asia. So you have 3 different copies, and you can also set up replication um, using redundant storage. So you can actually create an image of your VM and then use a image copy from, let's say production to UAT, production to staging, and then from staging to development. All that is possible using Azure image, right? So creating image. And diagnostics, you can set up diagnostics on the VM metrics. You can see how much CPU and as Manish said, DTU and eDTU. Actually, it is much cheaper to go into eDTU using elastic pools, because one CPU and one memory on a machine is going to cost you maybe $100. When you move to elastic pools, it is going to cost you like $10. So you can use 10 eDTUs uh, of the same power as one eDTU. So it is going to save you money when you move into eDTUs, because at the end it is a virtual. It's not a physical CPU. eDTU is more of a virtual or a logical base, right? So that's how it will save you money moving to elastic pools. So again, this is a storage account. The general purpose V2 storage account is the latest storage account. If you want to use blobs, files, you go with general purpose V2 storage. Before V2 storage, you had a V1 storage, but when you go and create a storage account, you can see V2 storage, and you can by default set up a NRS, and access tier can be either hot, cold, or archive, depending on how frequently you use. Hot means you use it more frequently, cold is less frequent, and archive is like rarely used. Right? So you can create storage accounts that way. So again, you create a container when you want to keep uh, blob storage. When you want to keep a file storage, you don't have to create container. File storage is kept in file share. So this is again a very important topic. What is the difference between file and blob? What is the difference between file share and container? So you have to, if you want to store something in a blob, you have to create a container. If you want to store something in a file, you create a file share. And file share can be used across uh, different resource group subscriptions, whereas container cannot be used across different resource groups because it is a container resides within a resource group. So when you create that, 2-3 times or watch the videos 3-4 times, you will get a thorough understanding of the difference. So you can use the Azure Storage Explorer or AZ Copy to move data from on-premise to cloud, or if you have large amounts of data, let's say 1 terabyte, 5 terabytes, even petabytes, uh, AZ Copy works much faster for import and export. So again, as I said, the different types of storage accounts, block, page, queue, and table. So these are the four. V2 storage allows you. So if you want to keep high I/O, support high I/O, right? Intensive disk read write operations, you have to go for a premium storage. That is using SQL Server or Microsoft SQL, right? Or Cosmos DB. Then you go for premium. Otherwise, you can just go for standard storage. For, let's say, you're not using high I/O, you're going to use archive or cold, then you can go for a standard storage. So again, there are four types of replication you can set up by default. I have also covered that in my previous videos about scale set, availability set, and availability zone. By default, Microsoft Azure provides you uh, 3 copies of data. Whenever you do a copy, by default, it goes into fault domain and update domain. So fault domain Um, and update domain will by default create 3 copies of data. But on top of that, you can also create zone redundant storage. That means um, East US, West US, across different geographies also you can store. And this comes with a cost. So that cost we will cover in later videos. Now access control, you can create your user, invite users using access control, give them, for example, particular storage you want to grant access, you have to create a SAS key and shared access key. So that key you grant to them, and only for a particular period of time, if you want them to access that storage, that is possible through access key or shared access. So block storage, queue storage. Queue is asynchronous. For example, you send some information to a client, or you receive some information from a client, and you at that point, it is like you want to receive it or send it at first in first out basis. So then you use asynchronous queue storage, right? And you will see that in that storage programming, we will see that. So using app programming, web app, that is something I have requested Manish to demo on next week. This is the Azure storage account, or transferring data, or FTP site, uh, service plans. So we'll also create a SQL database, and login through a web API or API, and see how the Elastic Pool will save us money, and at the same time give a performance benefit, right? Here it is. Yeah, so you have to give them permission through the firewall. If somebody wants to access your SQL server, you have to note their IP address in that SQL server. And this is like EDTUs, which I said, when you create the cost, when you go for basic service, it is cheaper, but when you go for standard premium service, the cost will increase, and it will show how much it is per month. Or that is it. That is like these slides are a basic level. I just walked you 200 slides. So any questions so far? Well, let me end the recording.